Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to this session hosted by Amazon Saheli. As we all know, International Women's Day is coming up, and today we're thrilled to be joined by the incredible Namrata Joshipura, who will be guiding emerging women entrepreneurs in a speed mentoring format. She would be drawing from her extraordinary journey of being one of the most celebrated designers of the country. At Amazon, we are committed to supporting the success of women entrepreneurs across India through our dedicated program, Amazon Saheli, that offers various launch support and discoverability benefits. This session is a part of our ongoing celebration of International Women's Day 2022. This year, with the theme of Expect the Unexpected, we at Amazon India are celebrating women who have overcome hurdles and biases to achieve what is all too often unexpected of them, that is, thriving as entrepreneurs and business leaders. So without further ado, it is such a privilege to introduce Namrata Joshipura, not only a prestigious name in the fashion industry, but also an avid trekker and marathon runner. Her brand, the Namrata Joshipura label, has a vision of a global aesthetic and has secured a global distribution footprint. It has become the go-to label for Bollywood starlets looking to make a red carpet impact. Inspired by her travels around the world and her time living in both New York and New Delhi, she has imbibed the creative energy of both cities. An important signature element is her innovative use of color and embroideries that are beautiful in their complexity and intricacies. Welcome, Namrata.
Thank you.
Namrata, thank you so much for joining us today. We are all familiar with the global brand that you have nurtured and built. Since today we're on the topic of women in business who overcome challenges and break the bias throughout their entrepreneurial journeys, if I may ask, what were some major challenges that you faced in your entrepreneurial journey to script your Expect the Unexpected moments?
Snigdha, I started my brand. It's been almost 25 years now. And, at the time when I started, I was, just 2 years out of an IFT. And I would, I was a one-man stop, right? Like one-man shop. So I did most of the work in the office, whether it was managing accounts, managing labor, designing, running the factory. And, you at early stages, you sort of handle everything. And one of my, pet peeve that I like to, when people ask me about my journey and my challenges, I want to tell you is that when I started and till many years after, you would have various visits from various departments, whether it was labor department, whether it was, many departments concerning not to do with the business itself, but the peripheral, stuff, PF, and labor department, etc. And they would come into the factory and they would say, the accountant or someone would call me and I would go meet the officer who has come or inspector who has come, and they would say, "Jaake boss ko bulao." So I would say, "Main hi boss hu. Kya baat kar rahe ho? Jaake boss ko bulao." Right? And they always expected that there would be a male boss, and I was just one of the employees who had come to sort of speak to him, and I would say, "I'm the boss. Talk to me. What is it about?" And so, there have been so many such instances where, you've had to face this sort of situation. But then, I never looked at myself as a woman running a factory. I looked at myself as an entrepreneur, as a designer, and there was never a gender for me, because I never looked at myself differently. And just like my other peers who were men and who were running their brands and labels.
Thanks, Namrata, for sharing that. I think that's a common thing that so many women entrepreneurs face. And so That's very helpful. Thanks for sharing that. Namrata, I also wanted to understand what is some of the best advice that you have received that has shaped you as an entrepreneur?
Um, you know, success is never linear. It's up and down, right? So everybody who is an entrepreneur, there will be moments that will be very satisfying, and there will be moments that will be very challenging. Be resilient, have your vision clear in front of you, and be authentic. If you have the authenticity and if you have the resilience, I think you've got it. You've got it sorted. That's the advice I got, and that's the advice I give.
That is wonderful, Namrata. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing your story, your journey with us as well. It is really inspiring to hear. So, Namrata, we are joined today by 4 other inspiring women who are building successful brands themselves. I'd love to welcome them on screen. They are Shiwali Gupta, founder of The Clutch
Hello.
Deal; Rakhi Khera, founder of Abiti Bella Enterprises and its sister brands Mine for Nine and Enklose; Taruna Biyani, founder of Taruna Biyani Jewels; and Aruna Tanikella, founder of Mrija Handmade Soaps. Welcome, everyone.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Same here. So each of our 4 panelists is navigating their own growth journeys and have interesting real life questions for you, Namrata, to understand your perspective on them, learn from your vast experience, and make the road a little easier to navigate. We'll do this in a Q&A format. Shall we get started?
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. First, Namrata, Shiwali has a question for you. Over to you, Shiwali.
Nice meeting you, Namrata. So,
Hi, Shiwali.
Hi. We are basically designers of ladies' handbags and clutches and potlies. So, my question to you is that in fashion, what is the best mechanism to research customers' need and insights? And how do we analyze when I should launch my next new collection? And before launching, what are the prerequisites that I must follow to make it a successful launch?
Okay. So, you have 2 parts to your question, right? What happens is, there is no, sort of formula. There's no formula to that research mechanism as to what a customer is looking for or what the customer needs are. But it's based basically a lot on your previous sell-throughs, what a customer sort of buying pattern is. You may have so many SKUs, so you have to identify very clearly what is a certain style that has been quite popular. You have to keep track of what if there is a return customer, what is the return customer coming for? Is it coming for a special occasion? Is it coming for what sort of colors? So that's a sort of a research that you have to sort of spend looking at your sell-throughs. That's something in-house team as you and your team has to sit down and sort through. Also, what happens is, so that is part of the research, sort of, what the customer needs are. You will derive that a lot from your, current sell-throughs, from your previous. So you have to understand the a customer's buying pattern. You have to sort of study that very closely, and it will give you a very clear idea of what you should be focusing on. That's the first part. The second part of your question was about launches, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the second part is launches is, today, launches have to be supported by multiple channels, right? Especially multiple social media channels, because that's a very, very important part of your marketing, your visibility of your product, your uh, currently email. So you have to maintain a database. B, you have to really work on a multi-channel social media launch, whether it's your Instagram, whether it's your Facebook. Your visibility is extremely important right now in a market which has so much to offer. And I will repeat this to every person who will ask me a question about anything related to your business, product launches, design, sensibility, that you have to, there's so much out there in the market. So you have to be very authentic, right? So your launches also have to be planned and designed according to certain, like for example, your Mother's Day, you have Women's Day, you have festivals coming. So you have to really look at how are you going to sort of align your launches with that, right? You cannot be mismatched. If there is a festive launch, you cannot have dark colors. You cannot have blacks. You have to have festive colors. You have to have golds. You have to have metallics, right? Does that sort of give you any? Does it answer your question?
Yes, true.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Shiwali. That was a great question. And thanks, Namrata, for your insights. We have Rakhi next. Rakhi, aapka sawal? You might be on mute, Rakhi. We can't hear you.
Thank you, Sigida. Hello, Namrata.
Hi.
I am Rakhi Khera. मैं मैटर्निटी वेयर चला रही हूँ 7-8 ईयर से। मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे ये है कि वैसे तो डिजाइनर हमने सेलिब्रिटी जो हमारे हैं, करीना कपूर खान है, नेहा धूपिया है, अनुष्का शर्मा है, इन्होंने मैटर्निटी फैशन को पॉपुलराइज कर दिया है। बट पहले क्या होता था कि बेबी बम लोग छिपाते थे, अब उसको एक एज ए सेलिब्रेट करने लगे हैं। तो फैशनेबल वुमेन जो हैं, प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन हैं, उनके लिए मेरे को आपसे एक सवाल है कि हम उनको कौन से कलर रखें, कौन से पैटर्न रखें, हम उसमें कट क्या रखें, प्लीज।
Rakhi, so basically there are so many brands offering maternity wear nationally, globally, and domestic and international, right? तो इसमें ये जो क्वेश्चन आप पूछ रहे हैं कि मैं क्या प्रिंट ऑफर करूं या व्हाट कट्स शुड आई ऑफर, you have to be different than what is there in the market, is what my answer to you is. There is not एक standard reply नहीं है कि आप stripes रखो या floral रखो, because ये season के accordingly बदलते रहता है, right? तो आपको ये fabrics use करने हैं, आपको ऐसे colors use करने हैं, आपको ऐसी silhouettes और shapes और styling use करनी है जो इस समय market में नहीं available, तो ही आप you will stand out, you will be different. You want to make your business successful, right? How are you going to make it successful? When you do something differently than what is already there in the market. So you innovate करिए, आप नए fabrics use करिए, आप जो इस समय कोई सोचता नहीं है कि ये maternity के लिए use करना चाहिए, आप वैसा कुछ डालिए। आप ऐसे सोचिए कि इस category में कोई भी से स्पोर्ट्सवेयर नहीं कर रहा है, मैटर्निटी स्पोर्ट्सवेयर कोई नहीं कर रहा है, मैटर्निटी लेगिंग्स कोई नहीं कर रहा है, मैटर्निटी, सो आप अलग सोचिए, थिंक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो आई कांट गिव यू अ स्पेसिफिक आंसर कि अगर आप ये कलर यूज करोगे तो आपका कलेक्शन सेल आउट हो जाएगा, बट आई कैन टेल यू दैट यू हैव टू डू समथिंग। इसके लिए आपको रिसर्च करनी पड़ेगी कि मार्केट ग्लोबली क्या हो रहा है, आपके कंपेटिटर्स क्या कर रहे हैं, फिर आप उनसे हटके करिए। यही फॉर्मूला अगर आप अपनाओगे तो आप बहुत सक्सेसफुल रहोगे। अगर आप ये देखोगे कि दूसरा ब्रांड ये कर रहा है और मैं भी यही करूं, then you're creating competition for yourself because it already exists in the market. आप ये सोचिए कि वो ये कर रहे हैं तो मैं ये नहीं करूंगी, मैं ये करूंगी क्योंकि ये हटके हैं, right?
अच्छा, थैंक यू। मेरा एक सेकंड क्वेश्चन और है आपसे कि मैटरनिटी वेयर जो सस्टेनेबल कैसे बनाए हम इसको, जीरो वेस्ट मैटरनिटी वेयर जो डिजाइन, मतलब उसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे कि हम प्रेगनेंसी के टाइम ना कौन सा कपड़ा यूज करें कि जो कंफर्टेबल हो, विमेन के लिए कोई प्रॉब्लम ना करे।
ओके, सी राखी, सस्टेनेबल ना आजकल एक बज़वर्ड है, राइट? तो ये सस्टेनेबल का मतलब ये नहीं कि it has to be very comfortable for the body. There are two different things. Sustainable is कि आपकी पूरी supply chain, from your sourcing, your raw material, to your stitching, to your final product, the facility where you make, the dye that you use, everything is sustainable and organic. And so wo, I don't know how much that is possible on a mass scale or on a small scale. आप जो आपका कलेक्शन है, जो आपका लेबल है, उसमें आप एक छोटा कलेक्शन, देखिए जो आपकी कस्टमर्स हैं इस समय और जो फ्यूचर में होंगी, वो सारी मिलेनियल्स हैं, यंग गर्ल्स हैं, राइट? दैट सेगमेंट इज वेरी एनवायरमेंटल कॉन्शियस। एक शब्द है ESG, एनवायरमेंटल, सोशल एंड गवर्नेंस। ये जो क्लाइंट है जो आपका, वो ये सस्टेनेबिलिटी और ESG, एनवायरमेंटल, सोशल एंड गवर्नेंस, बहुत कॉन्शियस है इससे। तो it is a good idea that when you present your collection, you don't use this just as a marketing tool. Then it will fall flat on you. You have to be authentic in your sustainable offering, right? तो आपको उसमें ये देखना पड़ेगा that the dyes you're using are not chemical based, so that it does not harm the mother and the child. जो आपकी फैब्रिक की सोर्सिंग है, वो आप कहाँ से कर रहे हैं, वो सस्टेनेबल है। जिस तरीके से आप उसको गारमेंट को फिनिश करते हो, केमिकल वॉश ना करिए, नॉर्मल वॉश करिए, केमिकल फ्री वॉश से करिए। पैकेजिंग शुड बी रिसाइकल्ड। दिस इज अ होल, ये ना एक पूरा सप्लाई चेन का इश्यू है। इट इज नॉट जस्ट एक प्रोडक्ट, ये कपड़ा कौन सा यूज करा जाए, राइट? बट आप अपने ऑफरिंग में एक छोटा कलेक्शन जरूर ऑफर करिए, क्योंकि एज आई मेंशन्ड दैट क्लाइंट बेस जो इस समय आपका मर्चेंडाइज खरीदेगा, जो आपके पास आएगा, वो जरूर इस चीज, यू नो, an expecting mother is most careful and conscious and wants the best for herself and her child, right? There is no two ways about that, right? I'm a mother, I want the best for my child, right? So you can create a collection which offers that, but it will be ye ek premium pe aayega. You'll have to, it will be more expensive. So how many people can offer that? Not many. So you have to, cannot make your entire collection that, but a small offering in your collection can be that.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you Rakhi. Next we have Taruna. Taruna, over to you, please.
Hi Namrata ji, a very good morning to you. And firstly, a big fan, not just because the way you have paved your way in the fashion industry, but also because like you're a successful woman entrepreneur, and hats off to you for that. So
I would say all of you are that. I'm no different. Everybody on this platform that we are talking today is a woman entrepreneur. Success is a very relative term.
Yeah, but we aspire to be like you, so that is why like we're glad to be talking to you today. Yeah, so my first question to you would be that currently my Amazon collection that I do is, so I'm a jewelry designer myself, and I do very minimalistic jewelry, which is more centered around single strand pearls and day-to-day wear. So my idea that I'd like to get from you is, so should I just keep continuing with that kind of collection, or should I start experimenting with collection variables, as in should I see more elaborate pieces, or should I just continue with my forte, which I feel is minimalism?
Okay, so there are multiple parts to your question. One is, there is a brand's DNA and you cannot shift from the brand's DNA. However, if you are doing more minimal jewelry, you can continue to offer that. However, you will need to add newness for the repeat customer and to attract a new customer base. Because if you've been offering a certain a single pearl, single pearl string, is that what you call it? Yeah.
Yes, strand. Yeah.
Single strand. Yeah. How many if I'm your customer, I like your product, I like your quality, how many can I buy from you? Correct?
Correct.
Maybe 1, 2 different sizes, different lengths. After a point, there's no newness, I will not come back to you. So your business really depends on a repeat customer. It also depends on attracting new customers. So it's multi-pronged to get the old customer to keep coming to you and to attract a new customer. And for both, you need to stick to your brand's DNA. However, you need to add newness to the collection, which cannot be, so contrast that it does not look like your brand. You get that? Within the brand's DNA, you need to experiment to bring your old customer back and to attract a customer base that you're not. For example, a lot of women of my age, in their 40s and 50s, wear pearls. Young girls don't wear pearls, right? It's called old woman's jewelry. So how do you attract a young person? Continue to do pearls, but make it a little more contemporary so that you'll attract that customer base too. Make pearl hoops. They are very trendy. Young girls want to wear it. Middle-aged women want to wear it. So basically, you're covering right now you're catering to a certain age group, a certain demographic. You can build on that by adding new SKUs and to create newness to your brand.
Yes. That's a very wonderful suggestion. I'll surely look into it, and I think I'll be working on it ASAP. And
wonderful.
My second question to you was that, we are already enjoying global presence online, and our collection is very well accepted and liked internationally. But since you come from a place wherein you already have a lot of offline global presence, so if there is any input that I can receive from you on the same lines, it would be really helpful, because I really want to bring my collection in the offline space in the global market.
Okay, so here's the thing. You need to travel. You need to identify which sort of country/city do you want to start your on offline global presence, right? You cannot, it's not feasible for a smaller brand to have multiple launches or explore multiple countries at one time. So you need to identify, there's something called trade shows that happen. These are accessories trade shows that happen globally, in New York, in London, in Paris. So you have to what you have to do, and this is how I started, when I lived in Delhi and I moved to New York, and when my business was already established in Delhi, but when I moved to New York, no one knew me there, and I needed to understand, where does my product fit, right? You cannot assume your product will fit. Though you've had online success, however, online sales and offline is a little different, right? So what I did was, I went to New York, I identified which are the trade shows, and I walked those trade shows, and I identified where do I fit. And then when I lived there, I traveled from New York to Midwest to the West Coast. So the East Coast, West Coast, I walked, these are called showrooms. They represent your line. They're not showrooms which are like shops. They are agents that represent your line, and they have contacts with stores across the world. And you contact multiple of them. There's a directory you can get through the show, through the trade shows. You get the list of all the showrooms, you mail them your lookbook, you touch base with them, you see who gets your sensibility. In the shows, the showrooms have various representation of various brands. So you identify who's your showroom, who's your agent, then they stock your collection, and then they sell it to buyers for across the world. So first you can start with an agent in New York, then you can get an agent on the West Coast. And a lot of times at the shows, when you're showing, the agents come and pick your brand up, saying that, do you have any representation in the Middle East? Or do you have any representation in, in Japan? Or in, even country specific, like Italy. So like that, it's the way you will grow. I'm happy to help you. You can touch base with me offline, and I'll tell you which shows to go to if you're keen to follow it up. And yeah, that's the way to go. And that's the way I did it. I had no, I just, I just went to these shows. I identified where I fit in. I got an agent, and I still work with that agent like 20 years later.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's such a nice thing that I get to know it from you. Like it's an honor, truly. I am definitely following your advice, and I'm glad that I spoke to you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Taruna. Thank you, Namrata. The final question would be from Aruna. Your question, please, Aruna.
Yeah. Hi, Namrata. Very inspiring to know about you. We have handcrafted soaps made from indigenous herbs and all. I've been at this for like last 5 years. So my question to you is, a lot of beauty brands that start online eventually would want to step into the retail space. So would you consider retail cost effective and scalable, like for small industries, small beauty brands like us? So what, in your opinion, is effective strategy to go from D2C to retail?
Aruna, I have to tell you that this is a very timely question, because now there is a notion of omni-channel, right? Online and brick and mortar, right? A lot of online platforms have opened physical brick and mortar outlets, right? But of course, I'm talking about much larger format stores, larger format online presence has done that. However, in your case, because I definitely think you should consider a physical presence, but for that, cost effectiveness for your product to have a standalone store may not be possible to start with, unless you add more product categories as you go along, as you explore this space, right? Right now there are soaps, tomorrow they could be face wash, could be shampoos, could be, other products in that category. Then you have multiple products. However, I personally feel, where are you based out of, Aruna?
We are out of Hyderabad. We were in Chennai for long years. Now we just moved last year to Hyderabad. Yeah.
Okay. So what you really need to do is, you need to identify in the bigger metros where the understanding of handmade products, etc., is very high. You need to travel to metros, travel to cities like Bombay, Delhi, where there are very nice curated exhibitions. There are, formats such as, a kiosk in a store, a kiosk in a mall, or a shop in a shop. is a format that you need to follow. In cities like Delhi and Bombay, I know that on the weekends, there are farmers markets, right?
Okay.
So where there's everything organic, natural, sort of is sold. So it's nice to take a small stand there. And that will give you an exact, your product, people want to smell, they want to feel. Of course, online, you've had success. You've been in the business for 5 years. Why not experiment with it in this way? Do not go ahead and launch a full store, because that's too much of a liability for you right now. But this is something I would definitely consider for you, would be a kiosks in malls, shop within shop, so that there's, it's you have visibility, your product has visibility. And again, everyone on this platform today, I want to tell you, social media is a very, very strong marketing tool. There are influencers, there are product placement. And if your product is quality and good, you don't even need to pay these people. You send them your product, let them try it, right? Let them feel it. These people respond. You send them Instagram messages, you send them direct messages, they respond, so you will have success. I'm confident you will have success. You've been in the market for 5 years, you're selling online platform, and definitely consider this.
Thank you so much for that advice.
I hope it is helpful.
Yes.
What's your brand name? What's the is it under Mrija?
Yes, it's Mrija. I mean,
Okay,
we are on
check it out
Amazon
online.
and a few other marketplaces, so please do try.
Definitely, of course I will. I'm a huge I only buy sulfate free, paraben free soaps. I'm
Yes.
very conscious about that.
Good.
So I'm all for natural.
So we got a customer.
Thank you so much. That concludes this fantastic mentoring session. Thank you so much, Shiwali, Rakhi, Taruna, and Aruna, for joining us for this interaction. It was a really enriching session, and Namrata, it was so good to hear your thoughts. And I know I'm leaving this session really inspired. I'm sure this was really helpful. I'm sure this was also very helpful for our entrepreneurs as well. To capture this moment, can we all have a group picture, please? If everybody can come on screen and perhaps smile at the camera. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namrata.
Thank you. Good luck, ladies.
We're really grateful
and
to
keep
you for
at
making
it.
time. Sorry, I didn't
Not at
realize
all.
it. Sorry.
No, I'm telling the women that keep at it, don't give up.
Yeah, very hard.
Oh, it is very hard. It's as I said, success is never linear. There'll be ups and downs, a few steps ahead and a few steps back, but just be at it, don't give up. Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much, Namrata.
Thank you.
We're really grateful to you for making time for the session, and it's at a really odd time since you're in Canada. So very grateful to you for making the time. And we cannot thank you enough for the guidance that you've provided today, not only to the women entrepreneurs in this panel, but also across the country. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting you, and we will be rooting for you to achieve even greater heights. Wish you all a very happy International Women's Day in advance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.